So now that EPA Director Scott Pruitt has effectively resigned from the agency, the deputy director has essentially taken over. Now, unfortunately, the new acting director is not much better than the old one, at least on policy issues. In fact, might actually be worse. Now, his name, of course, is Andrew Wheeler. And Andrew Wheeler happens to be a lobbyist, or a former lobbyist. Not just a lobbyist for any industry, but he specifically worked on behalf of coal. Wonderful. Now, Wheeler was, of course, confirmed by the Senate in April to be the EPA's deputy administrator. And while he was criticized by some Democrats, there were also Democrats that did support him, namely people like Joe Manchin and Claire McCaskill. Well, I'm not sure about Claire McCaskill, actually, but I think Heidi Heitkamp. I get them confused, and I don't know why. Nonetheless, there were Democrats that did support Pruitt and did support Andrew Wheeler. So they do need to be called out. Now, Wheeler had worked at Fager BD Consulting and Fager Baker Daniels law firm before going to the EPA to work under Pruitt. Now, the firm's clients included Murray Energy. Now, Murray Energy is the largest coal mining company in America. Now, while there, the company paid the firm $300,000 or more annually from 2009 through 2017, according to records from the Center for Responsive Politics. Now, while at the EPA, the Washington Post reported that Wheeler had arranged and attended a March 28, 2017 meeting between Chief Executive Robert E. Murray and Energy Secretary Rick Perry. Murray, who had contributed heavily to the Trump campaign, laid out a 4-page plan for rolling back regulations and protecting coal plants in danger of closing because of competition from other fuel supplies. Now, that would be, of course, natural gas. It's not government regulation that has been killing the coal industry. It's actually been competition from natural gas and also from cleaner energy initiatives such as solar and wind that are now cheaper to operate than coal and actually much, much safer and better for climate change as people become more climate conscious. Now, on that 4-page plan, well, under Pruitt, a lot of that plan was actually put into place. The president had ordered Energy Department to invoke a Cold War-era energy powers in order to take actions that would prevent the closure of nuclear power plants and coal plants for at least 2 years. That's part of what Murray was seeking. And of course, I don't know what else is on that 4-page list, but I can assume that it's not good for the environment, but very, very good for Murray Energy. And I'm assuming that that plan, implementing that 4-page plan, is going to continue under Mr. Wheeler. Now, prior to his time in lobbying, and this is what I base that on, Wheeler also served on Capitol Hill as a Republican staff member for Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, or for the committee, as a top aide to Senator Jim Inhofe. Now, Inhofe, of course, is another Oklahoma Republican who spoke out against climate change, not in favor of doing something about it, but actually about the entire idea that is actually happening. Inhofe famously had brought a snowball into the Senate chamber to try to disprove global warming. Yes, a snowball. It snowed here. Climate change is fake. It's not actually happening. I hold in here, my hand, a snowball. Not only that, but on Capitol Hill, going back to Wheeler, Wheeler not only worked for Inhofe, but as a staff director and chief counsel to the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, where he worked to defeat climate change-related legislation that came before lawmakers. Now, some of his things that he had done there is he supported efforts to exempt industrial plants from pollution controls in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and Rita, and limit their liability for harm caused by the release of toxic chemicals. So you get affected by toxic chemicals and you want to sue the fossil fuel plants, can't do it. Why? Because of Wheeler. He also favored the elimination of the news source review permitting process that is an important part of any new environmental legislation. So, based on his record, Wheeler is likely going to continue the same policies of deregulation and environmental destruction as former EPA Director Scott Pruitt. So, but maybe he'll do so with a few less scandals. That doesn't mean that we should be happy about this guy becoming the new EPA Director if he is confirmed by the Senate. In fact, we should have an EPA Director, I don't know, this is a crazy idea, that actually cares about the environment. Now, the problem is, I don't think we're going to have that. Because right now, in America, we have two groups of people. People that actually trust the science, scientists, evidence, and facts. And on the other side, you have an industry that profits off being able to pollute the environment. And of course, you have their defenders, people like Charlie Kirk, people like Ben Shapiro, who are paid for by these, these very large think tanks that are funded by fossil fuel companies like Koch Industries. So those are the defenders. Those are the two different groups. And it doesn't matter how many EPA heads step down under Trump if another industry tool is there to take their place. And believe me, there are plenty, because there's a lot of money to go around in climate denial. What we need is people who actually care about the environment and not just about their own paychecks to take these positions of power. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that until we eliminate the corrupting influence of money in politics and elect true progressives that actually care about the future. We need to do those things, and we need to do them as quickly as possible because we're running out of time. Climate change is already here. It's only going to get worse, and we've got to do something. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.